What's going on, everybody? Hope you all are having a fantastic day today. Now, today I guess I want to talk about something a little bit more personal. I guess you should say. Something that matters to me, because Call of Duty is something that I love. I've been playing it for a very long time. I would say the first game I played was Call of Duty 2, the big red one. And then I used to actually go to a place that rented out time, so you can go pay for some time to go play on their PCs, Xboxes, PlayStations, whatever was out at the time. I think it was the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. They had some PCs. I played Call of Duty 4 on their PCs there. But the first Call of Duty game that I owned personally for myself, played the full year, and after that day became addicted and kept buying the games every single year, and they were my main titles, the main games that I loved. I started that off with Call of Duty World at War. So I've been a part of this community for a minute, I gotta say. I've been playing a lot of these Call of Duty games. And deep down, you know, personally, these devs are not really... I don't really know how to say, because I don't want to be too mean. I don't want to offend anybody. But they're just not listening to some very simple things that could be changed in Modern Warfare, which would not change their vision at all. Their game would literally still play the same, but it would just help us, the people, the core Call of Duty fans, the people who buy your game every year. It would help us enjoy the title a little bit more. We've been complaining and complaining. Simple fixes, may I remind you, like the minimap being changed. What about the footsteps being lowered more? They're insanely loud. It reminds me of Ghost, because Ghost was also a soundcore game. And actually, I kind of do enjoy games where it's, you know, revolving around sound whoring, but the way they designed the maps in this game are just, holy cow. And then along top of the sound whoring, the two just don't add up to me. They don't work. And what about the dead silence? Don't forget about dead silence, because dead silence was a perk that was practically in every single Call of Duty game. And even if it wasn't a perk and they changed it in another manner, you were allowed to use dead silence for the full game. You didn't have to put it on like a timer where you have to hunt down kills to keep your dead silence. Now, personally, I will say this now. That's pretty cool. You know, having dead silence run for however many kills that you get, it kind of encourages a run and gun style. It pushes you to push enemies and engage with people. It would actually be cool, I'm not gonna lie. But the thing that's wrong with it is that the game isn't revolved around run and gunning. Even with dead silence equipped, there's endless amounts of possibilities where people will be holding nasty angles on you, and they don't need sound to know where you're coming from. You know, that's just how Call of Duty Modern Warfare plays. So running gunning isn't really the best strat in this game. So holding dead silence for a long time in Modern Warfare is very challenging. So for people who could do that, you know, that's an accomplishment, you know? That's a very good thing, because you're able to run and gun, keep kills flowing in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. But these simple, tiny things, each and every one of them, could be changed in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. It's not a big deal. And honestly, if they lowered the footsteps, you know, if they added the minimap back in, put the red dots on the minimap so when people shoot unsuppressed weapons, they would actually show up, and even add dead silence back in as a perk. You know, these things, even if they added them back in, the game would still play the same. You know, they still designed the maps the way they did. They still designed the guns the way they did. They designed everything around the style of gameplay that we're playing here. All we as the community are asking for is just, you know, a chance to make it a little bit more enjoyable for us. We understand that these specific things aren't going to change the game. They're not going to fix anything. But at the end of the day, it would make it more fun for us to deal with. But then I look at video games like Battlefield 5, designed by EA Dice. And yes, it has its issues, it has its problems, and the community is in uproar just like Call of Duty is, even though there are some people who don't really mind what's going on. But there is a lot of issues going on in Battlefield 5. I kind of fell off of all the drama because I used to cover Battlefield 5 a lot when it first released. But once Modern Warfare came out, that was kind of it, you know? I just sunk into Modern Warfare. I'm a Call of Duty player. Call of Duty channel, so obviously the majority of my time will be spent with Modern Warfare, so I kind of fell off the news, but there are definitely still tons of issues in Battlefield 5 that are going on. But one of the biggest problems, one of the most game-breaking issues that actually turned me away from never wanting to touch Battlefield 5 ever again was the time to kill changes. You know, EA DICE just couldn't help themselves when it came to messing around with how all the guns felt, the time to kill, and it was unnecessary changes that did not have to happen. And the community complained. And they complained. And they complained. Until EA DICE finally changed things. And yes, it's still not completely fixed. It's still not completely brought back, obviously. But they're still working on it. And they're listening. And they've done it more than once. And every single time they update it, it gets better and better and better. Which means that they're listening to community feedback and what people are saying during these current updates, so they know personally if it's good, if it still needs more tweaking, until it's perfect again. And I'm jealous. I am insanely jealous. Don't get me wrong, I understand that Battlefield is on like a 3-4 year cycle sometimes. So they have more time with the game, which means people are going to get tired with it, so they're going to try to change stuff to keep people coming back, because, you know, it's like 2-3 years later, compared to a game like Call of Duty, which releases every single year. So I understand where the devs are coming from at Infinity Ward, thinking that, you know, it doesn't matter, next year we're going to be buying the next game anyway, so they're just going to make their own personal vision and then call it quits, and then we're just going to buy the next game, obviously, and move on. But me personally, I would enjoy revisiting Modern Warfare. I would enjoy visiting this game again. Like, I like revisiting all the Call of Duty games. They all hold a special place in my heart. Regardless if I loved it or if I hated it, I still played that video game, and I probably played it for the majority of the year as well. A lot longer than a lot of other people last when they buy a new Call of Duty title. I mean, I think the majority lifespan of the Call of Duty game, for me personally, when I look around my town, when I was younger back in high school, and a lot of the other people that I used to play with, and just on my whole school in general, like a month, 2 months was the time period that people would last on a Call of Duty game. And then, you know, the hardcore players would play for the rest of the year, maybe a little bit longer, and deal with it. But when the community complains and we voice our opinion about some of the changes that we think would improve the title, it's not because we're just complaining and trying to annoy you guys, but we want this game to turn out good. We want to be able to play this title. And we want to be able to revisit this title maybe in the future, or see some of the maps remastered from this title maybe in the future. But the majority of the maps are booty cheeks, and they're refusing to listen to any of our opinions, to the point where by the time this game ends off, it's probably just going to completely die. Nobody's going to want to touch this game again. I just wish the developers of Call of Duty Modern Warfare, well, Infinity Ward, I guess I should just say, will listen to what the hardcore community of Call of Duty wants from this title. You know, it's not that difficult for them to change some of this stuff. It will make a lot of players happy. Like, seriously, tell me one YouTuber, one Twitch streamer, one anybody who's a big influence in the Call of Duty community that wouldn't be happy if they don't bring the red dots back on the minimap. Or tell me a YouTuber or a streamer or whoever that would not be happy if the footsteps got lowered. Like, just tell me, please, because these are issues that I think everybody would like to see changed. Things that everybody would be happy with. I don't think anybody would be negative if they changed the footsteps and made them lower. I don't think anybody would be pissed off if gunshots showed up on the minimap. It would only make the core Call of Duty players more happy with the game. It would still be the same newbie, campy, styled gameplay that the game already offers. It's not going to change. It's just going to allow the hardcore players who didn't want to deal with that this year to have a little something to help us out. Like, Jesus, they're really trying to make it that strict this year that they won't want to listen to any of the fans. It's so strange. Like, it doesn't add up to me, because the fans, the people who purchase this game every year, are the people who make this game come alive. Like I said, yes, this is probably one of the biggest selling games out there that release yearly. I mean, tell me another game that releases yearly that could sell copies like Call of Duty does. Call of Duty holds a special place in a lot of people's hearts. But for the majority of these people, like I said, it only lasts about 1 month, 2 months, and then they completely ditch the game. And then the core fans are the ones who stay there and deal with all the crap and deal with everything in the game, that complain and whine and want improvements out of it. What if they leave? then you lost a massive portion of your community. And most importantly, they're the most viable people of your community. These are the people who will continue to support every single game you make. The people who love your titles. And even if everybody else goes away, if the hype completely died down, these are the players who will still be playing your game. You shouldn't ignore them, Infinity Ward. You should try to find a middle ground with them, just like EA Dice did with Battlefield 5 and The Time to Kill. You guys, I want to thank you for tuning into this commentary. It really means the absolute world to me. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like. Yeah, you can always dislike it. If you're brand new and you enjoyed what you heard, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification button. Also, if you just want to chat with me, see what I'm talking about, you can follow me on Twitter at JbowenDaMan. And also, if you just want to see me live streaming, I do that over on Twitch at JbowenDaMan. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.